Traces of the White Holly's proud history remain. In 50 years at sea for the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard, it loaded ammunition in World War II, tended navigational buoys, and even made life-saving rescues. It was finally decommissioned 8 years ago, and most likely would have been auctioned off or donated to a foreign country, or maybe just stored in some mothball fleet like this one. But instead, the White Holly and a sister ship, the White Sage, took a curious journey. One that began when a small California mission asked Congress for a favor, to be given the two boats to carry out their charitable work.
The vision was twofold. One was to deliver health care to the people of the isolated islands and to conduct youth programs, giving youth growth and leadership.
Jamie Spence founded and runs Canvasback Missions, which provides medical services to needy South Pacific Islanders. To reach these faraway islands, Canvasback had been using an aging catamaran. It wanted a bigger boat. Then a chaplain working with the mission had an idea.
The chaplain came to us with a dream of getting these two Coast Guard ships, the White Sage and the White Holly. Get these ships donated by Congress and raise the money and operate them.
It's called earmarking, when a legislator grants special favors for a particular program or group. The New York Times looked at more than 15 years of federal legislation and found that faith-based groups alone received almost 900 earmarks for everything from land swaps to abstinence education. One of those earmarks gave Canvasback the White Holly and the White Sage.
You're going to have a lot more than just a vision to operate a ship like this and to operate it effectively.
Steve Ellis works for a Washington watchdog group critical of earmarking.
You don't have any of those checks and balances, and you don't have any of that oversight that is normally required. The entity has that property to do or not to do however they see fit.
That 1998 earmark specified that Canvasback was to use the two vessels to, quote, provide medical services to the people of Central and South Pacific island nations. Things did not go as planned.
What I didn't know was what it really takes to operate a World War II old vessel like that, you know. It takes a lot.
The White Sage never even left port with Canvasback. Jamie Spence sold it for $85,000 to a company that took it to Tidewater, Virginia, and then sold it to a pig farmer in Nicaragua, where it is still providing ferry service along the Nicaraguan coast.
They're flipping the property. They're flipping the White Sage to then help them spend the money to operate and improve or do whatever they need to do to the White Holly.
The White Holly took an even longer journey, but not to the Pacific Islands. Instead, Canvasback Missions navigated down the East Coast and through Panama, making fundraising stops along the way, and finally docked in the San Francisco Bay, where a local seaman became interested in the vessel.
The White Holly, to be sitting in Mare Island on the day that I drive by while I'm looking for a ship, was almost a miracle.
Vince Backen was looking for a boat for oceanographic research when he came upon the White Holly.
It's in great shape. Wow, it's in great shape. And then guess what? It's for sale.
In 2002, Backen negotiated a deal with Canvasback, agreeing to pay $330,000 for the White Holly, although both sides are now disputing some of the terms of that sale. So Canvasback got 2 free boats, but never used them in the South Pacific as directed by Congress.
These ships are really not practical to operate. They're too expensive to operate, is really the bottom line.
It sold them for a total of $415,000, which it added to its general revenues.
Those proceeds helped us through a time when we would not have otherwise been able to continue the programs.
This boat should be in Micronesia helping out people for the next 60 years. It's a great boat. There's no reason it couldn't go for another 60 years. This boat could do more than $330,000.
I mean, it doesn't even seem to me to be that there was a lot of oversight or or looking into what exactly the organization was doing with the asset that they were given with certain restrictions by Congress.
The government ships were donated for the purpose of taking health care to Micronesia. And the sale of the vessels, the proceeds have gone entirely into that purpose, into the programs. So they have fulfilled their purpose.
Canvasback's public filings do not provide a clear audit trail for how it used the money. The congressman who submitted the earmark told the New York Times that is not what he or Congress intended. And experts say that the way Canvasback sold the ships so quickly and mingled the proceeds with its general revenues might raise constitutional questions about the separation of church and state.
This is a problem writ large across the federal government. There's no accountability in earmarking. There's virtually no checks and balances. It's a cautionary tale.